Hi folks, so today's video is going to be on the People's Palace in Glasgow. So the People's Palace is home to a collection of objects, photographs, prints and film, which give a unique view into how Glaswegians lived, worked and played in years gone by, to the present day. All set in the backdrop of historic Glasgow Green. The People's Palace is located in Glasgow, Scotland, and it is a museum that was opened on the 22nd of January 1898. The idea of a palace for the people drew on writings from John Ruskin, William Morris and Annie Besant, and the People's Palace took inspiration from its counterpart on the Mile End Road in the east of London. At the time, the East End of Glasgow was one of the most unhealthy and overcrowded parts of the city, and the People's Palace was intended to provide a cultural centre for the people. It was designed by Alexander B. MacDonald and decorated with sculptures representing art, science, shipbuilding, industry and progress. So originally the ground floor of the building provided reading and recreation rooms, with the museum on the first floor and pictures and art being in the top floor. Since the 1940s, it has been a museum for social history of the city of Glasgow and tells the story of the people in the city from 1750 to the present day. The collections on display reflect the changing face of the city and the different experiences of Glaswegians at home, work and leisure. The current displays as of March 2009 include glimpses of typical Glasgow history, such as life in the single-end tenement homes, the steamy and nights out at the dancing in the famous Barrowland Ballroom. It also has a various selection of art going all the way from 1750 to the present day. In the 1990s, the building was closed for almost 2 years to allow restoration work to be carried out, with the reopening being timed to coincide with the 100-year anniversary of the first opening of the building in 1898. It is recorded on a plaque mounted just inside the main entrance, and the reservations extended to both the Winter Gardens side of the building at the rear of the building, and the glass house was extensively restored and reglazed, with the gardens tidied up as well. Some of the exhibits include World War One and World War Two exhibits. This includes a bunker that you can actually sit inside and you can get a feeling for what it would have been like. Obviously, when I say that, it's not going to be like the real thing when there was bombs dropping on Glasgow, but it's still interesting to think about that a lot of the stuff was donated by people that lived in that time period and had to go through the war. So yeah, just really interesting to think about, and it's really nice to think that people have donated stuff over the years to actually keep these memories alive for people, and to show the future generations some of the stuff that their ancestors or great grandfathers and that would have had to have used during the war. I really enjoyed the People's Palace. I have to admit, it was actually really interesting to go about and just read up on a lot of the history and the different artefacts that are there. So I would definitely recommend if anybody wants to go and check it out. It's not just World War One and World War Two. There's exhibits to do with the prison system, exhibits to do with different paintings and art. There's politics. There's all different things there. So it's definitely worth going and checking out and just, experience it. I'm sure a lot of people probably have, but for anyone who is visiting Glasgow, it's not a bad exhibit to go and experience. There's a small cafe at the bottom floor near the entrance where you can get food and something to drink. The gift shop, unfortunately, hasn't opened up yet, as I believe it opens up in the summer, but it's still worth checking out at any time of the year. And for anyone that's wondering, there's a few ways you can get there by car or by bus, but there's also the tour bus that stops just outside the museum that'll take you on the tour around Glasgow, which is also something else that you should really do if you're in Glasgow, because it's good to obviously just find out more about the city, and the tour bus offers that as well. So yeah, definitely check that out if you're coming to Glasgow.